So, good morning, everyone, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the world. India pays great respect to the mother, and the mother begins with Prakriti, or the earth. So, I'm going to be bringing in a bit of earth mother energy. And I have never had the opportunity to give birth to a child, but I understand the experience does really connect you to the earth in many ways. So I thought we would bring that in. And if you'd like to bring in any thoughts of your own mother or grandmother or important women in your life who have been mentors and nurturers to you, I'll give you the opportunity to do that today. We're also working with the hips, which is a wonderful place to work with the feminine because this is the area of birth, reproduction, many changes that women go through every month. And so we'll be working with the hips. So just finding your spot. Today we're going to have a bit more gentle class than we did last week. And we're going to work on strengthening very subtly. It is going to be strong, but it's going to be a bit more subtle. And bending the knees and feeling the knees tracking over their second toes. So this pose, this is something I learned from physiotherapy when I went to find out what was going on with my left hip about, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I was having persistent pain, and the physio had me do a lot of squatting, and it was very informative for just checking in with the hips and the weighting of the hips or the pelvis into the legs and feet. So this is a way to ground, but also a way of just waking up the hips. Adding neck and shoulders. I'm adding lots of that to all the classes these days because of our Zoom lives, our virtual lives during COVID. Inhale, expanding. Exhale, contracting. Today I'm bringing in the bhavana of the earth. So as you exhale, if you like, you can visualize yourself hugging a big cedar tree or a tree of your choice. Feel the roots. And inhale, perhaps feel the branches of that tree, that growth. Exhale, feel the roots. And inhale, feel the expansiveness, maybe that beautiful green color of those fresh leaves of spring all around you. Exhale, hugging that tree, giving thanks to the earth today. It feels right for you, connecting to the First Nation that you stand on in your land. If you're in a country where there are settlers, just thanking the land, the early peoples for sharing their land and this land with us, if that's relevant to you. Adding some Ujjayi Pranayama as you exhale. Make a long exhale. This is a way to let go and ground. Draw the belly in, round the spine, and pull up from the pelvic floor all the way up to the belly button. And inhale, opening. So as we age, most of us are complaining about the middle-age spread. Even my skinny friends are like, what's going on? So this is natural. That's the first thing I have to say. Fat holds on to estrogen, so we should be thankful for this process. But we want to feel strong in this area. So exhale from the pelvic floor up and just see if you can access that core strength from the pelvic floor up to the belly button. And as you pull up, In and up, can you also feel the energy down to the earth? Maybe bend a bit more now. And if your knees are bothering you, I know some of you have knee issues, you can touch your chair, or if they're really bothering you, just use the wall. And just find a way to do this that feels good for you. Just finishing up. That's something you can do every day as a yoga break. Got a mini break in your day, just do a few of those to ground. Now we're going to move into Tadasana. This is also a South Indian tree pose. So this is a palm tree. So you can visualize that palm tree and those beautiful leaves. We even have some of those in Vancouver, which is always amusing to me. And exhale through the center. This is the Sushumna channel from the top of the head down to the base of the spine, and then down through the legs and into the feet. Do this in your own timing. I'm kind of in a slow, mindful space today. If you need to move faster, no problem. Time it with your breath this morning, not mine. Now make a big ha sound as you exhale. Letting go of any tension. Inhale, filling up with new energy. And exhale. Now, if you like adding the Ujjayi pranayama, constricting the throat. Ujjayi inhale as well, if you can, constricting the throat. Now I'm making mine fairly loud so you can hear it, but for yourself, you want to make it soft and smooth and subtle. And you want to make the pranayama long. And throughout the day, start to notice your breath. Are you holding your breath? Is your breath very rhythmic? Equal inhale, exhale. Or is it jagged, ragged, rough? If you find that it's short and rough, try to take a breath break. Doing some movement with your breath, if you need to move, or just sit and breathe. Take 5 and notice how your thoughts change. Notice how your pain levels change. So when my arthritic neck acts up, I'm like, okay, Maggie, what is troubling you? Because I'm pretty sure I'm worried about something. Now, if you can, staying in that tree, and I'm stretching my fingers apart, especially for those of you with arthritis in the hands, stretch those fingers apart on the inhale. Now, when you stay in the pose, you've got options. The hands can be together on top of the head, on your shoulders, at the sides, any height that works for your neck and shoulders. I'm going to interlock my fingers. I'm gazing slightly down, or you can gaze straight ahead and breathe here. Inhale into the chest and then the belly if you can. Exhale, belly draws in and chest falls. If this is too much, do this with your heels down or go up and down. Inhale up and exhale as you go down, stretch up and away. Inhale coming up. This is for neck and shoulders. For those of you who have been on Zoom calls for many hours a day this past week, This could be a great one. This is one I use a lot to decompress my upper back so that I don't feel the effects of the tissue damage in my neck. With your legs, bringing it back to the hips. Can you squeeze your thighs together? You can always have a block between the legs too. And can you feel both feet evenly? Maybe lift the toes up at the end of that exhale. And when you're ready, finish up your last one, coming down. I'm always amazed. So when I do experience pain, I have those poses that are real go-tos and I do them throughout the day and I get some relief and hopefully the relief will stay for, an hour or two or longer. And just go with it. You can just allow your body to be what it is. Moving into the hips a bit more. We're going to do some balancing today. So inhale, arms coming up to the front. Chin down, Jalandhara Bandha, this chin lock. This helps us, according to yoga, ground the energy by bringing the chin down. Exhale, bring one leg up. Now start with a bent knee. That's probably going to be easier as the hands come down beside your hips. And inhale down. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, you can do that with a straight leg. This will definitely strengthen those hamstrings. Or you can put those two pieces together. Exhale, bring the bent leg up. Inhale, point the toes, extend. Exhale, draw it up. Notice how you can bring it higher. Use that core to draw the leg up. Inhale, stepping down and away. Get nice and long. You want to stretch your body long. Exhale, that's what keeps us young. In the yoga world, is lengthening the spine and getting the prana or energy moving. Exhale, bend in. Inhale, step away and extend up. Do that a few more times. So just with the bent leg or adding that extension, your choice. This should help you with walking. Have more balance in walking. So if you've got one side that's weaker than the other, really pull up on that side, those glute needs, those guys. Step away and up. And as you exhale up, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, draw that lower belly in, ground the energy and strengthen the core. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend, draw in, draw in, draw in, draw in. Inhale, away. And we're just going to finish up. You could do that for a long time, but we shall move on. In samastiti, even standing pose now. Both feet on the ground. Where's your weight? You can circle around a little bit physically or just with your attention. Which foot do you feel more? Do you feel yourself swaying slightly side to side? That is normal. Always moving like a tree. Is always slightly moving. Let the breath come back to neutral. Feel those feet, feel those legs, feel those hips. Now to the side. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, bring the leg to the side. We're going to do this without the side bend first, okay? So I'm pointing the toe, and then inhale and flexing the foot coming up. This is using those abductors, those muscles on the side. On the outside as you do that. And then when you come back to the center, you're using the adductors, the inner thighs that we worked on a lot last week. Really stand up on that standing leg. So I can really feel that. I don't know about you. We've got 3 glute muscles and they're all, at least 2 of them are involved. Probably all 3. So you inhale, really stretching long. Exhale, try to keep tall, like you have a string connected from the top of your head, drawing you up to the heavens. Keep connecting to that thread right through the top of your head, down to the feet and through the earth. In the Christian tradition, they called this axis spiritus, the spiritual axis, that line. And today we're working with axis mundi, that horizontal axis. We're going to start going into that now as we tip to the side. Now see if you can go a little bit or a lot. So going more into the horizontal and then the vertical as you inhale, horizontal as you exhale. And you could have a chair on each side that you bring your hands to, or blocks. Expanding out. It's really getting into the hips a bit more, trying to do even inhale, exhale. Sometimes it won't quite work out, that's okay. Maybe stay a breath. What would that feel like? A little hard, eh? So you can skip that stay. It feels like too much. We'll draw in through the core to find your balance. Ooh, there we go. And exhale, release. One of my friends said when I learned to ski, when I was almost 40, I took up skiing. He said, if you're not falling, you're not trying hard enough. So I always keep that in mind. It's okay to fall a little bit. We're going to go to the back, and I'm going to show with the chair if you've got one. When we extend a little bit more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, you just start by bringing your toe back and maybe tipping a little bit or a lot. Inhale, extending. Exhale, hands down by your side and keeping that beautiful plane of forward and back. Now, if you want to take it up a notch, come towards your chair and then bring your hands down to your stool or chair and see if you can extend. I'm trying to drop that back hip. Maybe bring my forehead to the chair. Inhale, use my hands to help me up until I feel like I can use my core a bit more and move my arms away and up. Bring my hands down when I feel like I need them. Now this is also stretching those hamstrings, so be careful. Now you can stay in the position if you want. Another add-on is the hands can go to the wall. See if I'm close enough. Yeah. Like this, and you can go into a more traditional warrior 3 position. And you can do that without the wall. So hands extending. It's quite a lovely feeling. You can have your palms together. Once you get it, it's quite a lovely feeling. I recommend feel your hands and feel your foot that's back and feel like someone's stretching the 2 sides long. That's how you get your balance, is feeling those 2 sides. That's something I learned in my dance career. The other thing you can do is bring your foot to the wall behind you. See if I've got it. There's my foot. You can also use that chair in front if you happen to have two walls like I do. I'm going to go a little closer. So I'm just going to use the wall. And you can be in this position. And that can give you a lot of stability as well. You can stay in the pose or keep it moving. I'm going to do this without the arms just so I can focus on that foot. This can help you get the alignment of the hip. See if I can put them together. A little further away, so you have to play with it till you get it just right. Might find yourself getting longer over time. And just finishing up. And that's very subtle, but a lot of work, yeah? Strengthening for the back, for the hips, that's working the glutes, the glute max, the back of the hips, strengthening the hamstrings. And just rest. Now, if you have a hip that doesn't work quite right now you're probably feeling quite a lot of energy in that leg into the foot. Just notice that if that's true for you. It would be unusual if you wouldn't be feeling that about now. So just feel your feet, maybe bend the knees tracking over the second toes. Let the breath slow down. So doing those long breaths with physical movement that's challenging, that really works the heart. This is how yogis do cardio. It's kind of a different methodology. Okay, so we're going to squat, and I want to show you the squat sitting in the chair. I don't think I showed this to you last week. This is kind of fun. I hope you like this. So if you have a chair, if you don't, you can just squat, okay? But I'm just going to show you. This is quite a fun and challenging little pose, and this is something you can do in your office as a yoga break. So my new thing is little tiny yoga breaks during the day. I just keep doing them. Inhale, arms up, especially being at home. This is one of the nice things of being at home. You can take nice breaks. Exhale, sit down, and inhale, arms moving and standing up. Now the higher that chair is, the easier it will be. Try to do it nice and slow. Oh, I made it. Now pull in from the pelvic floor up to the belly, sit down, rest. Inhale, upper chest, lower chest, full belly expanding. Now as you expand the chest, try to breathe also into the back body. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls. Inhale, focus on the back body. Inhale, upper back, middle back, lower back, belly expanding. And one more time. This pose usually translated as chair pose. For this reason. Now we're going to do it at the wall. You can keep doing that if that felt like the right yoga for you. If you've gone through a knee replacement, something like that, or a hip replacement, or you've got hip pain, it's a wonderful, gentle way to strengthen without overdoing it. So I'm trying to give more levels in my classes, just respecting individual needs. Now find your place. Now if you want, I brought my bolster today. You can use a big bed pillow if you don't have a fancy bolster. I love colors and beauty, so I decided to get my bolster out just so I could give you something a little more beautiful to look at. So You can squeeze in. So you can just do this. Exhale, squeeze in, inhale, release. You can do this lying on the floor with your legs bent and just do this on the floor if this seems like too much. You can do this seated in your chair, just squeezing. Doing it against the wall. I'm using my back a lot more. Exhale, squeeze that bolster and feel the inner thighs. I said I wasn't going to go there, but there we are. Inhale, release. This also helps with incontinence. As we age, unfortunately, this often becomes part of the symptoms of everything falling with gravity. We start to experience different forms of incontinence, and no one wants to talk about it, but it's a big thing with women, especially women's health. So this is a way to help with that. Now, if you want to add on, inhale, arms up, and exhale, squeeze. Go a little closer. There we go. Inhale, arms up. Feel that back arch, and exhale, squeeze. If you're getting tired, just take a break anytime. This is a lot of work. Now, in the upper back, something you can notice if one hand comes up before the other. When that happens for me, I always know I've got a little twist happening in my spine today. I seem to be good because I've been working on that a lot. That's a fun thing to notice. If you want to stay in Ardha Utkatasana, just stay in the pose and breathe. Whatever version works for you. Add a little movement of the spine if you like. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bend. I imagine your legs are getting sore about now. Pick the modifications if they work better and release. We're going to go into a forward bend. Release that bolster. You can also do that with a block or a bed pillow. They work really well. Now extend your back long. Press your hands into the wall. Extend your back long. My feet are away from the wall by a couple of feet. Extend nice and long. And keep the back long. So the belly, you take your ribs, stretch them forward. If you have blood pressure issues, you can keep looking up or just come to about here. You don't want to bring your head lower than your heart. If you can, come all the way down, maybe even hold on to your calves and rest. Feel that deep stretch into the lower back. We're going more into the lower back next week, but today, definitely when you work with the hips, you're starting to get into the lower back. Our mantra today is Ma, Bu, Ma. This means Mother Earth. Ma is Sanskrit for mother. Bu is earth. If you sing it, it's like this. Ma, Bu, Ma. You can just say that in your head. I'll sing it for you. Ma, Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma. When you're ready coming up, we're going to work with that mantra more today. Just come halfway. Whew. Feel the back body on the wall. That's another way to really ground that dorsal part of the vagus nerve. Just soothe that part of us that allows us to go into deep relaxation, but also can collapse when we have a lot of fear. Just soothing that part of us, that the back of the spine. And coming up, finding your samastiti. And now let's check in with our feet. Samastiti. I love this pose. Sama means balance. Stiti. Stiti means stability or to stand. Now feel your feet. Is there a change in the weightedness of your feet right now? Just clue in. And if you've got one leg that doesn't work quite as well as the other one, that leg that's a little weaker should feel like it's awake with energy and muscles have woken up. And that will carry you through your day. That change, it will remember and say, okay, I'm okay. I can do this. I can help this embodied spirit move in the world more gracefully, more efficiently, with more ease, more stability, and carrying softness with this stability. All right, so I don't think I can teach a class without warriors, so here we go. This gets into the back of the hip. We are going to go into lunges a little bit today. Can't ignore those lunges. They're also super important, especially as we're sitting around a lot these days. So going into this, I say this often, a warrior steps forward, so you can just play with that for fun. As women, it's Durga, the goddess Durga. I'm quite fond of her. I call her the fierce female. She's part of the female that says, no, I'm sorry, I'm very kind and nurturing, but that is not acceptable. So find that part of yourself on this Mother's Day that is able to say no to that which is untrue, that which is harmful to those you love, that which is harmful to yourself, that which is harmful to the earth. So part of the female role is to protect, not just nurture, to protect this earth, protect this land, and be a leader in that protection. When you're ready to stay, I haven't fired you up too much, go to your easier side, the back leg straight, the front leg bent. You can adjust that back foot according to your hip opening and comfort. We're going to do some forward bends as we did last week. So decide how close you want to be to your chair if you're using one. The closer you are, the easier. Bring the head to the chair. That can also be extremely soothing to the prefrontal cortex. Letting go of tension. So you might want to do that. Inhale, bringing the arms to the sides. We haven't done this. Let's work with the neck and shoulders a bit, as well as the hips. Exhale, dropping those shoulders down. Draw the ribs in. Inhale, extend up. Exhale, extend forward and down to your place. You could also come to the floor. Inhale, coming up. Bending the front knee. Exhale, drop the shoulder blades, draw the ribs in. And I'm thumbs back, elbows forward. Inhale, stretching up. Now feel that back hip, how it's lengthening as you extend. And exhale, when you can, straightening the front leg or keep it bent. Inhale, coming up. We're going to do around 4 of these. You might do more if your breath's a little bit shorter, that's fine. Exhale, dropping the shoulders. Inhale, warrior one, Virabhadrasana. Modification, looking up. Classical, looking straight ahead, like a warrior or a fencer does. And exhale, forward bend. We're going to stay now in the forward bend. Encourage you to make that back foot
parallel to the front. So you're also working with the calf. You can come to the floor, you can use blocks, you can use that chair. Again, it's very soothing. You can come higher up by folding the arms, and you can also have blocks, a stack of blocks here that you bring the forehead to. So that's another option. Or even, I think I've got these fellows. Oh, no, they're not there. They're hard blocks. I have to say I really love the feeling of the forehead on the chair. And I've got a yoga mat on it just to make it a little softer. Back foot parallel to the front, if you can. We're going to do that downward facing dog at the chair. You can also do this on the floor. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, rooting back, maybe bending the knees, tracking second toes, widen the knees for most of us. Feel the stretch under the armpits likely. Inhale, looking up. If you have RA, you might not want to look up, just keep your neck straight rather than looking up. Or if you've got some instability in the neck, that might not be the right modification to look up. Doing it for nerve flossing. Next round, we're going to do up and down dog with it, but this is the modification. When you're ready, bringing the other foot forward and the back foot, finding your warrior. Bending that front knee, feel that stretch into the back hip. When you're ready, arms at the sides, inhale, opening. Exhale, bend the elbows, draw the ribs in. Thumbs back, elbows forward. Inhale, warrior one, Virabhadrasana. We can think of it as Durga, the goddess, the fierce female. Exhale, extend, come forward. Hands to the chair or to the floor. Forehead could also be on the chair. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, drop the shoulder blades, elbows forward, thumbs back, draw the rib cage in. Inhale, open. And exhale. Also on that exhale, you can do a Anjali Mudra, Namaste position. If you want to work on letting go, surrendering. And one more before we stay, doing around 4 of these. Feel that back hip open, the psoas, hip flexors. Exhale, forward bend. We're going to stay. Use your chair or use the floor. Stretching that front leg and the back foot, making it parallel if you like, to work the calf. When you're ready, coming up, and you can go into that down dog at the chair or use the floor. If you're using the floor, I would use a yoga mat for this pose because it's pretty hard to do just with the floor. You'll probably slip. Inhale, going through your plank if you like. So This might be your pose, just this, coming forward a little bit if you've got some wrist issues. You can also come forward. You can hold the sides of the chair. That might feel better for those of you who have wrist concerns. And exhale back. And the reason I'm using a bench is it just gives me a wider place to put my hands, because my shoulders are too broad for most chairs. So you might want to choose that, scooping the hips forward, the chest opening. I bend my knees when I come back so I can decompress my lower back. This is also stretching the front of the hips as well as the chest. So it's the whole front body. Wonderful pose, and a lot more people can do it with the chair or using the hard blocks under the hands. I know some of you are doing that. And when you're ready, coming to your samastiti. We're not ready to come to the floor. Just notice how you feel, feet apart or together. Notice the energy moving in your legs, your feet, your hips. Notice the weight even on both feet. When you're ready, we're going to take it down to the ground. I'm just going to switch my screen so I can see some more of you. All right, so coming down to the floor, and I'm going to tip my camera forward too so you can see more of my floor. That's it. Oh, there we go. Okay, now you should feel like you're right on top of me. Okay, so lying down. I'm going to be a little closer to you now, so you might enjoy that. So just lying down. Can you all see me? Okay. Yeah, good. Okay, thank you. You can see all of me. Yeah, I'm going to tip it down a bit because I can't see all of me, which is not really very good. Okay, I think that's it. All right. Okay, I'll go here. Okay, now I can see. All right, so just starting with Tadaka Mudra, make sure you've got space. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms coming down. Just doing that. I'm just gonna get my lights more down too so you can see me a bit better. And you might want to lie on a yoga mat or a carpet. It's a bit more comfortable. So inhale up, exhale down. So this is like samastiti on the ground. Now, haven't done all that hip work. If you have one hip that tends to hike up a bit, you might now feel that that foot, that leg is longer. So just notice if you can feel that. Got one side that works a little differently than the other. Might be like, wow, my leg is so long now, which is a really cool feeling. And notice how that translates into the upper back, neck, and shoulders as well. Now we're going to stay in the pose if this is comfortable. Otherwise, you can keep it moving. So this is the classical pose. You can interlock the fingers, palms up. You can bring the feet together if you like. And as you exhale, this is a breathing exercise. Exhale, pelvic floor. lower belly, belly button in, hold after exhale, draw everything in and up. Now inhale into the chest and into the belly. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, chest falls, hold after exhale. Inhale, upper chest, lower chest, full belly, and if you can, tuck the chin in at the top of the inhale, Jalandhara Bandha, chin lock. Chin slightly down, stretches the back of the neck. You can hold that lock, or if you have neck issues, release that lock as you exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Hold after exhale, feel the lower back into the floor. Gets rid of that curve of the lower back. Inhale. Chin lock. Exhale. Like zipping up a pair of jeans from the bottom up. And release, exhale, arms down. That's a stretch for the whole spine and really working with those bandhas, those locks. Okay, we're going to go into the hips now. So I would like you to grab your bed pillow, your bolster, or it could be a hard block. I just found my blocks. They're right here. You're probably looking at them during the video today. You can use those as well. So just put those blocks out. And likely be using the belt. I'm not sure. So just have that available just in case. So I'm going to use my bolster, but you can use any of the other blocks if you want, or bed pillow. And this is to strengthen the inner thighs. And then we're going to move into bridge pose. The reason I like the bolster is it goes all the way to the feet. And I'm going to turn on one more light just to make sure you guys can see me well today. Two more, there we go. It's a bit of a cloudy day here. So, as you exhale, just squeezing that bolster from the feet up and feel those inner thighs. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. Now, as you squeeze, you might feel your lower back tilting, your tailbone scooping up, almost lifting. So you might feel a pelvic tilt. This also gets into the lower back a bit. Inhale, release. Now, if you have a lot of lordosis or curve in your back, don't tip forward. Just go to neutral spine. That's most of us. My last trip to India, I showed this to my teacher, and that was his comment, which I thought was quite useful. If you lack curve in your lower back, you can definitely add that pelvic tilt forward and create a curve in your lower back. As you inhale, I'm opening the hips. As I inhale, I'm going to a neutral spine. Exhale, tuck the tail under. Now, if you want, you can start lifting up. We're just isolating the lower backs and hips with this. So it's a very small tilt. Normally we inhale when we come out. For this one, we're going to exhale. So we're working with that motion of the tucking under of the tail and lifting up. And feel that in the glutes, in the lower back. This is also energetically very soothing. Now, if you'd like, you can take it up a notch by staying in the position. Coming up, you might lift up even higher, tucking the shoulders under. You can do cactus arms, any arms you like. Inhale, open the hips. And exhale, squeeze that bolster. So this is the other reason I like to use the bolster, because with a block it falls away. If you've got a block, just relax a little bit as you inhale and then exhale, squeeze more. If you can, release those hips a bit, those knees, and lift up higher, inhale, and then exhale, squeeze. Now we're going into more traditional breathing. Inhale, lifting, breathing in, lifting up, and exhale, squeezing. This is strengthening the lower back, the glutes, and the hamstrings. The back of the hips, and then the sides of the hips and the inner thighs. If you're getting tired, take a break and rest. You can hold after exhale. It's an add-on. And coming down. You might feel your hips tomorrow having done that. Just rest. We're going to do another round of Divipadapitam later, the bridge. But before we do that, let's just do a counter pose because that's a lot of work. Feet nice and wide if you're using a yoga mat, as wide as your mat or wider. Exhale, bring your hips side to side as a way to release the lower back. Ujjayi pranayama. And you can work with that mantra if you like. Ma, bu, ma. As you exhale, inhale just regular. Exhale, ma, bu, ma. You can do it out loud or softly, very, very softly, whisper it, or just in your head. Usually when we lie down, we just do it in our heads. Ma, bu, ma. This means Mother Earth. Connecting this Mother's Day to the Mother of Mothers, Prakriti, or matter, the earth. Ma, pu, ma. Ma, pu, ma. Ma, pu, ma. Last time. Ma, pu, ma. And just rest in the center. breath slow down. Okay, so for the next exercise, you can do this with one of your hard blocks between your thighs. You can do it with a belt along the thighs. I'm going to do it that way myself, just to work my hips a little bit differently. It is definitely harder with the block between the thighs. If you want to keep working your inner thighs, or if you want to work more of the outer thighs, this might be your medicine. And this, for those of us who are tight in our hips, this sometimes can really help us get a bit more range of motion into the hips. So pick your medicine, as I say. You can also use both the block and the belt. That's another option. If you've had a car accident, for example, and there's a lot of instability in your hips, it can be very soothing to just lock them in with those props. That's probably the number one thing I do with people who've had that kind of accident and instability in their hips. Okay, so let's see. You might just do step one of this, okay? So the palms can be down, they can be up, just depending on your shoulders. I feel much more comfortable with mine up, so I have that bias, but feel free to adjust for what's comfortable for you. Inhale, you're gonna lift the hips up, so we're doing that classical inhale, and I'm just gonna walk my feet forward a bit, lifting up. I'm gonna exhale, stay here. I'm gonna inhale, extend one leg forward, exhale, back, and then the other leg forward, inhale. So that belt is just helping keep a bit of stability in my hips. And then inhale, lift higher. The belt can help open that groin. And exhale, release. I'm going to bring my hands to my belly as I exhale. Inhale, I'm going to open to cactus. Your choice on the arms. Exhale, stay. Inhale, you can also lift up a little bit. Exhale, down. It's a little harder with the belt. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. You might want to make your belt looser if you're doing that. Exhale, release. And I'm going to loosen mine just a bit so I can show that a bit better. Inhale, up. Exhale, stay. This is strengthening the hamstrings and the glutes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, coming up, and you can come up onto those toes as well, and lift even higher and press out into the belt. Open those hips and exhale, come down. Now, if you want to take this up a notch, you can stay in the pose and do that cha-cha-cha side to side. That's another variation. Inhale. Exhale, stay. Now you can also tuck your arms underneath. Interlock your fingers, be careful. Inhale, come up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. You keep this going. You can also play with inhale, up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Exhale, down. So you can play with those variations. Inhale, up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Exhale, down. You can also get rid of that belt. Inhale and exhale. So I'm going to show you without the belt now. It's not quite as stable, but you get more range of motion, so that can be kind of nice. Inhale, exhale, inhale, so I could come up a lot higher now. You can see exhale, bend, in, inhale, extend, exhale, down, and just keep going side to side. If you're using the block between your legs, just do the straight out, because otherwise you will probably lose that block. Any variation of this now doing. This is also used for working with strengthening the muscles around the knees. So I know some of you have knee issues. This is also definitely for the knees. This was given to me years ago for working with my chronically weak right knee. You're also getting a semi-inversion. Just make sure it's not hurting your neck and shoulders. So adjust the arms until it feels really good on the neck and shoulders. If you've had enough, take a break. I'm going to do one more round. This straight from Chant India, this one. Inhale. You might be feeling your lower back as well. Exhale, it's really strengthening for the lower back. And rest. You might be sweating a bit. That's a lot of work. And let's do that counter for the lower back, just side to side. You can alternatively bring these to chest if that counter works better for your back. Inhale, center, exhale, side. You might have a lot more range of motion now, having warmed up all that musculature and fascia, the hips and lower back, pelvis, thighs. Now, if you like, alternatively, you can do internal rotation, one knee at a time. Inhale, center, exhale, one knee comes down, the other one stays up. Reach that knee towards the big toe and get into the front of the hip, the thigh, hip flexor, which I haven't worked on too much today. That can really help get into that part. If that's not enough for you, you can stay in the pose and loop one leg over the other and stay here. Be careful. This can be if you feel anything weird in your knee, please don't do this. Just go side to side if it feels better, or just do the windshield wiper and stay without the lock. Okay, so you can skip that lock. You can move the hips a bit in this to work like we did in our lunges last week. We didn't get to those today, but this is another way to get into that hip flexor. Just that movement, switching sides. And coming back to the center. Make sure you're all still with me. Yes, I see some movement. Excellent. All right. Okay, let's do a counter for the lower back. Let's bring the knees to the chest, and we're going to stretch the hips. So for this one, I like to use my favorite yoga props, which now acts to lift up my computer when I'm in meetings. I've got about 4 of these. So you can use them for that too. They're very good. But today for yoga, put it under your buttocks. The top edge is high as your waist, not higher. And you can use a soft pillow for this. I wouldn't use a hard block. It's much too hard. So just a pillow, a cushion, or one of these soft blocks made of foam that Half Moon makes. That's a very Canadian prop. They don't make them in other countries usually. So we're going to do this without the hands so that you're going to work a little bit more. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. So just starting with that asana, hold after exhale. This is stretching the lower back, letting it round. After all that extension work, get some flexion of the lower back. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Knees in, use the bandhas to draw everything in. And then we're gonna stretch the hips in a moment. Last time, exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Now, if you like, you can hug your knees into your chest and stay. If you've got knee surgery, etc., hold under the knees, create some space for those joints, or just use your hands just to make sure you're not hurting your joints. Rest. Inhale, ma. Exhale, boo. Inhale, ma. Exhale, boo. B-H-U, earth. Ma, mother. Or you can just say Mother Earth to yourself in English. Or in your native tongue. Some of you are speakers of other languages as your first language. I often use this mantra with my working with pregnancy. Especially helpful if you do have a mother wound with your mom. Something happened, she didn't protect you, she didn't nurture you, whatever the issue is. Especially Mother's Day can be quite triggering. That's your situation. Connect to a bigger sense of mother, and at some point you might be ready to forgive your earthly mother for her inability to take care of you. Usually these things we do that hurt each other are not intentional. It's usually our own wounds that end up wounding others. At some point, making peace with that, if you're ready for that forgiveness coming from understanding. In the meantime, connect with the Mother Earth, who continues to look after us despite all the harm we do to her. When you're ready, crossing one leg over the other, can you think of one way that you can show your love for the Mother Earth today? It might be through connecting to your physical mother in this world, or a mentor, someone who's been, for me, my grandmother was probably me, next to my own mother, my greatest female mentor. I worshipped her as a little girl. I visited her in California. She was an atheist, and I always say she was the most spiritual person I ever met. So I have a great respect for atheists as a result. And the yoga tradition is actually open to atheists, so you do not have to believe in God. Crossing to the other side, I just thought I'd point that out since I'm speaking about my amazing grandmother. And she used to say, love your neighbor as yourself, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's enough religion for anyone. That was one of the great things she taught me. So if there's something you have learned from a wonderful female in your life, your own mother or another amazing woman, maybe bring that wisdom to mind as we stretch our hips. Sinking into the flow here, forgetting about time, which is a sign of pure enjoyment, but it's important to remember time when you're running a class. All right, when you're ready, just finishing up. That's a wonderful way to get into the outsides of the hips when your knees are problematic. It usually doesn't hurt the knees. Also gets into the SI joints. All right, we're going to do, I call it the magic hip pose. So this one is for one of you in particular who's got some hip issues, but I think you'll all enjoy this. This is strengthening. So this is lying on one side and start with your side. You should model that. That is your easy side. You might want to do this lying on a yoga mat or a rug. And if I've worked with you privately for your hips, most of you will have this practice. So clamshells are great. You can do those. Inhale, open, exhale, close. This is the yoga version of doing it. I'm going to show a modification. Let's make sure I'm long enough here. I can just do it in my space here. Great. Oh, well, I'll do the best I can. If I can point my leg, yeah, there I go. So I've got one arm under my head. You can use a big pillow under your head and just have your arms forward. That might feel better for your neck. Sleeping Vishnu pose. You can have both legs extended. That's quite hard. So I bend the lower leg and extend that top leg and point the foot, and I'm trying to decompress that hip. And then as I bring it up, I'm bringing my hand to my thigh and try to point the toes down a bit so you're not doing this because your glutes won't be working very hard if you do that. So that's your exhale. Inhale, extend long. You could even bring that foot back a little bit to get even more stretch into the hip. And exhale, flex the foot and come up and point the toes down so that you're still using the glutes. Inhale, extend. So if you get compression in your hips or hip pain caused by compression, this was a great discovery of mine in the last year. This is my magic hip pose for decompressing the hips. It's also very strengthening. So this helps with fall resistance. So as we age, clamshells if you prefer, or the sleeping Vishnu pose. Anantasana, ananta means balance or harmony. Talks about in the Yoga Sutras, chapter 247. And in this sutra it says, by letting go of unnecessary tension, and through that, learning to act very efficiently, you will sink into infinite harmony in your body and your mind. The next sutra says, in that state of infinite harmony, ananta, samadhi, in that state of flow, the opposites will no longer bother you. Isn't that great? You will no longer be triggered by the opposites. Just rest now. So if you're like me and that fierce female part of you sometimes gets activated, you get a little upset about the transgressions of others, people bothering you, people doing things you think are unjust, whatever it is good to act. It is good to fight injustice. But yoga says we want to act, we are going to fight, we want to do it from a place of balance, harmony. We want to know what we're doing. We don't want to do it from a place of anger. So we know from psychology, anger is linked to the amygdala, deep in the brain. And that is not the highest part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex. We want to act from that prefrontal cortex, that wisdom, that discernment, what yoga calls the buddhi. So the fierce female that I talked about, the warrioress, we want her to find stability, balance, ananta, harmony. This pose is all about ananta, anantasana, before she acts from a place of discernment. Now, yoga says you can use anger as a tool. You can show anger if that's going to be what's going to wake up the person you're dealing with. A child, in some cases, raising your voice a little bit might be the appropriate thing to do. Now, notice if one hip feels a little bit weaker than the other, and it might be the same one that has a bit of compression. So inhale, decompressing that hip, stretching away, stretch, stretch, stretch. Exhale, contract. I know on this side, it's like I start to get tired around now. I go until I can't do it anymore. You might want to go to about 80% of that so you're not sore the next day. When you're ready, rest. On side child's pose, take a rest. And just taking your final Shavasana, couple of minutes. If you want to stay longer, you can. We've just got a couple of minutes left. And I'm putting the bolster underneath so it acts also as a counter pose to our last position, just resting here. And as you do that, I'm going to chant for you this Ma Bu Ma. And you can say it in your head or just listen. If you like, you can visualize yourself lying on some spring grass, maybe some spring flowers blooming around you, maybe under a tree, maybe by some water, some element of nature that you find grounding. Ma, Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma, 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 Bu, Ma, 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 Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma, 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 Bu, Ma, 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 Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma, Ma, Bu, Ma. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti,
Shanti. Peace. 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 Namaste.
Namaskaram.
Enjoy this Mother's Day, whatever that means to you, whether you be a mother yourself, a grandmother, a great grandmother, or a nurturer of plants, of animals, children. Whoever you nurture and protect, may that part of you, the eternal mother, be present. Namaste. Thank you.